Welcome, friends. This is Brevity Sports, coming at you from our caves where we talk major news in major sports. Here with my co-host, Big Z, and myself, Fredo Lay. What is up, everybody? We are back. Welcome, friends, to another episode here with Brevity Sports. I am joined, as always, with my co-host, Big Z. Say hi to the people, Big Z.
What's up, people? What's up, Fredo Lay, my boy? How you doing, man? How's the weekend?
Dude, I'm doing great. I was coaching all day yesterday. My sons, you know what? There's no better game than when you're coaching your own kids and they're winning. They're having great games. Jaden went for 2 for 3. He pitched great. My younger guy was at third base yesterday. He was making plays. It looked fantastic, and it just fires you up, dude. It fires you up. Dude. Had some friends over. It was good. How about you? How was your weekend so far, man?
It was good, man. Went to another birthday party today.
Wow.
Yesterday, out in nature, playing some pickleball, hanging with the family. The little boy is just, he's running all over the place now. So he's keeping me active. So it's fun, man. Got a lot of sun. It's beautiful weather. Southern California. Finally, we had some Southern California weather this weekend. For sure.
And then, of course, what a time to be a sports fan. We got the World Baseball Classic going on. We got football news going on. We got March Madness going on. And Thursday to Friday was just amazing. I mean, Thursday, you couldn't even keep track. You can't even keep track of all the games that are going on. You're like, up to this one. You're on True TV, then CBS, then TNT, it's wild.
So I have YouTube TV, and this year they implemented a thing where you could just hit one screen and it has like 4 games going on each corner of your TV.
What?
And then if you wanted to actually watch one game singularly, you could, click on the one game in the upper left-hand corner and you could choose it. But I thought that was a great feature that they added. And my phone just kept blowing up. Like when I wasn't watching a game, when I was working on Thursday and Friday, upset alert. Are they going to hang on? And
there's nobody's bracket is perfect. There's no way. There's like a perfect bracket out there.
There's no more perfect brackets.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no
They're
more.
gone.
There's
gone.
No way, dude. Yeah.
Dude, Princeton, come on, son. Look, we got a great episode coming for you tonight. We got the NFL. We got big moves. We're talking March Madness. We're talking the World Baseball Classic. We're talking all of it. Stay with us. Stay tuned. And you know what? We're not sponsored by YouTube TV. That's just Big Z being a big fan.
We're not. Yeah.
Big Z, the big fan, gets 4 games at one time. That's just how he rolls. That's just how he does it. Understand that, people. Understand that. In big news, speaking of big news, Big Z, the Big Apple, is Aaron Rodgers. Is he going to be a Jet, man? Is this thing done yet? I mean,
it's not done, but he intends to play for the Jets. That was the biggest news out of the weekend, or on Wednesday.
Yeah,
when we went on
the takeaway
show. He intends to play on the Jets, and he says he's not trying to play victim, even though he just played victim and said that the Packers, were mistreating him, and when he came out of the darkness, they changed their tune, and he just felt sad and he didn't know what to do and was confused. So he's not playing victim. Wow. He made sure that he told us that, but it definitely sounds like he's playing victim. But my question is if this trade is completed, and I'm sure it will be eventually because the Packers seem to want to move on from him, and I think it's the right move, but how good are the Jets going to be? Like, you're in the AFC East. You have the Bills. You have the Patriots, who always seem to figure out guys on their defense. They're one of the best defenses in the league. And then you have the Dolphins. You can't forget the Dolphins. So how good are the Jets going to be, especially with the season Aaron Rodgers had last year? He definitely regressed. So I just can't get over that. I know they have weapons, but can they even win that division?
That's the big thing. The assumption here is that if Aaron Rodgers does go to the Jets, that all of a sudden they're a playoff team.
Yeah.
And when I look at the AFC, you got to remember, the Bills are good. The Chiefs are good. Like, the Bills aren't all of a sudden just going to roll over. Miami is good. There's a lot of really good, talented teams in the AFC. So this idea that the Jets are all of a sudden just going to win their division. And then when you're looking at those wild cards, it's crowded. Okay. Nobody's going to knock off the Chiefs. So all of a sudden, one wild card spot is guaranteed. You're going to be looking at This is purely out of respect for Sean Payton because of the mind that he has. You're looking at a team like the Broncos. You're looking at a team like the Chargers. You're competing with teams like the Dolphins. You're competing with teams like the Patriots and Bill Belichick. You're competing with all of these teams for that wild card. It's not as if you're just going to stroll in there. And we're assuming, again, I am assuming at least, I'm not going to take that from the Bills. I'm not going to say that getting Aaron Rodgers puts you over the Bills. I'm just not going to do it. No. It certainly doesn't put you over Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. No way. No way.
It doesn't. And if I'm Aaron Rodgers, why do I want to leave the NFC? Like, tell me who's, on par with him skill-wise in the NFC. Maybe Jalen Hurts as a quarterback.
The NFC's hurting. The NFC's hurting, dude.
And you have Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson had a terrible season, but he could come back with Sean Payton, Justin Herbert,
right?
Jimmy G. Even I'm not saying that he's great, but you have a list of guys, right? And for a guy like Aaron Rodgers, who's such an egocentric individual, I think that's going to hurt him in the long run. I think he's going to get a little butt hurt and realize, like, man, I probably made the wrong move here. But I don't know, man. It was definitely entertaining watching that stream on Wednesday. Pat McAfee had like record number of live viewers. So it was cool. It was fun.
That makes sense, dude. And it makes sense. I mean, everybody does want to know what's going on with Aaron Rodgers because it matters. I mean, it's a big storyline, and my favorite part about Aaron Rodgers, just like you're saying, I'm not playing the victim. I'm not trying to play the victim. It was the same way he didn't want to be in the headlines. He didn't want to make news. He didn't want to be a big deal. And then all he proceeded to do was be the biggest deal by just leading people on. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to make a decision. I'm going to make a decision. Don't forget about me. I'm going to make a decision. Don't forget about me. I'm going to make a decision. But then he never would make a decision. But to your point, you look at the top teams in the NFC from last year. You look at the Philadelphia Eagles, right? Jalen Hurts. We just talked about him. He's probably on par. The team behind them, Dallas Cowboys. Dak Prescott, I'll take Aaron Rodgers all day. Minnesota, Kirk Cousins, I'll take Aaron Rodgers all day. Detroit, Jared Goff had a great year. I'm still taking Rodgers. Tampa Bay, Tom Brady just retired. San Francisco, we don't even know who's going to be their quarterback at the start of the season. So the NFC is in shambles versus, just like you said, you look at Buffalo, right? Buffalo with Josh Allen. You look at Cincinnati with Joe Burrow. You look at Jacksonville with Lawrence coming into his own. You look at Kansas City with Kansas City with Patrick Mahomes, the Chargers with Justin Herbert. You look at these teams, these quarterbacks that are elite, all of a sudden Aaron Rodgers, like, why do you want to be in that mix? Why do you want to compete with Buffalo and Miami in your division and New England? Let's not pretend. I mean, New England, granted, they were a game under 500, but why all of a sudden is that your desire to go to a place where it's all of a sudden crowded?
Especially in New York, like, dude, that media is going to shred him.
100%.
If they lose 2 games in a row, like, it's over. And do you
his
think he's
whole
going to deal with that?
relax,
how's he going to deal with
his
that?
whole calm down, relax. That works in Green Bay because you were the Packers, right? Aaron Rodgers was the Packers. That does not work if you are a New York Jet. The relax, it's all good. Just stay with me. That's not a thing in New York. It's like LA. You don't go to these places and then lose. That's not a thing. That's just not what you get to do. You know what I mean? It's just I don't know. I think anybody who thinks that Aaron Rodgers going to the Jets makes them a playoff team, makes them a shoo-in, I'm not there. I'm not there. I think it makes them
better. But
100%.
Yeah, like I said, it's not a shoo-in for the playoffs. Even the playoffs, like, people are like, oh, he's going to win the division and make the AFC championship. No. Let's take a step down, take a step back. They're not a shoo-in for the playoffs because of how stacked that conference is.
And if you're wondering our thoughts on Aaron Rodgers, I mean, again, 2 weeks ago, we're not going to break it down again. 2 weeks ago, we broke him down on this show, Brevity Sports. Go back, listen to it, episode 2. We broke him down in a big way. We talked about his playoff record, right? It's not great. So even when he makes it to the playoffs, you're talking about a team like the Niners a couple years back going in and knocking them off with Jimmy G at the helm. I'm not trying to hate on Jimmy G. All I'm saying is if I was a betting man and you said Jimmy G was quarterbacking a team that was going to go into Green Bay, and winner goes to the Super Bowl, winner goes to the ship, winner goes to the NFC Championship, dude, I'm taking Green Bay all day. That's not what happened. That's not what happened. Time and time again, he's proven he can't do it in the playoffs. Another big move to come out this last week, Waller to the Giants, which I thought was interesting because I thought the Giants did have a pretty decent tight end, but I mean, heck, 2 doesn't hurt you. You know what I mean? It's going to free up some guys. What do you think about this move, Big Z?
I think it gives Daniel Jones another weapon. I think this is, first off, this is created by Daniel Jones taking a team-friendly deal, allows them to build around him, and to have Brian Daboll as his head coach in an offensive
100%.
mind, he's gonna thrive, I think, and it's gonna be fun to watch. I mean, maybe he's not gonna be the best tight end in the league. You still have Kelsey, you still have Kittle, but I feel like he's gonna be more of a wide receiver tight end hybrid. He's not the best blocking tight end, but he's gonna do some damage, and he's better than Bellinger, who they had. Who's a rookie this year, and he had a good year, but Waller is definitely an upgrade for them. But like I said, it's all comes back to Daniel Jones being willing to take a certain hit on the salary cap this year to be able to build that team around them. And I think they're going to take a step forward with it for sure.
Well, and I think Waller was done as a Raider. I think last year with the injury, and there was talks, was he actually injured? How bad was the injury? How severe was it as he was sitting out game after game after game? Derek Carr kind of has that press conference where he talks about it's hard for them to put in the effort that they are when not everybody is committed. And there were some talks. Is he talking about Waller? Who exactly is he talking about? So I think his time as a Raider was done. I like the move. Like you said, I think Daniel Jones completely sets this up. And I don't think Daniel Jones is a fool. I think he knows he needs weapons, right? He needs weapons. If they put it all on Saquon's probably going to get hurt again. I love Saquon Barkley, but they've got to keep that guy up. If he's not in the game, you're going to lose a lot of games. They've got to do whatever it takes to keep him healthy, which means they've got to have other weapons around him. But he was not the only weapon to move. We're going to kind of lump these guys together. We got Myers and Judy. Which one's the better move to you, Big Z? Do you like Myers? Do you like Judy? Who do you like? Juju. I'm sorry. You like Juju or do you like Myers? Who do you like? Who do you like more?
Myers by far to the Raiders, because Myers was the number one in New England. And so he hasn't had the best career. It hasn't been flashy, let's just say, but he did have 6 touchdowns last year with Mac Jones thrown to him, and no shade to Mac Jones, but he's not necessarily Patrick Mahomes.
Nope.
And he now becomes a number 2. And so Devontae Adams is across from him, right? So Devontae Adams is going to get all that pressure. He's going to get the double teams, all that stuff. So Jacoby Myers going into the number 2 slot in Oakland or Las Vegas, I think he's going to have a really good season. Jimmy G is going to find him. Jimmy is a great game manager, great at, those short passes. And he's going to find him. I think he's going to thrive in that offense, especially with Josh McDaniels at the helm. He may not be good as a defensive head coach, but offensively, he's going to do well. Juju is going to regress. Juju is now the number 1 receiver in New England. First off, you have Mac Jones thrown to you, and now you're going to have all the double teams, all the main focus on you. Juju Smith has never been a receiver who can create space. He's a guy who does well in a system. Right? He did well in Pittsburgh, but who was the number 1 then? Antonio Brown. It wasn't Juju Smith. Even with Deontay Johnson was the guy. Juju Smith wasn't. And this year he had a better season, but he was number 2, number 3, and he had Patrick Mahomes thrown to him. So I think Juju Smith got paid, but he is going to have a miserable time in New England, in my opinion.
I think the Patriots took a massive L on this one, Big Z. I'm totally with you. I think Myers was extremely talented. I know he had an injury, so he was up and down a little bit, but he is such a better talent than Juju to me. And when I look at the Kansas City receivers, last year, I honestly looked at them, and I have never been more impressed with a quarterback than I was last year with Patrick Mahomes, right? Like when I looked at what Patrick Mahomes did last year, and then I take into account the fact that he did that with arguably the worst receiving core in all of football. That's what it is. And I know a lot of people say, well, how can you say that they won a Super Bowl? Like, look at, they did just fine. And Juju had one big game. Listen, Kelsey enables that. Guys like Kelsey, McKinnon, who I love having that resurgence. I've been rooting for McKinnon for a long time on the Vikings, journeyman, Vikings to Niners. It never quite works out. He gets on the Chiefs and all of a sudden he's doing his thing. Like, that story is gorgeous. That's a beautiful story. That's why we like sports. Having said that, the reason these guys are so effective is because of the greatest connection in all of football, which is Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, who I'm convinced, I've said it on this podcast before, they were separated somehow at the Bassinets. I don't know how it happened. All I'm saying is these guys have a very special connection that is unlike anything else in the NFL. And that is what enables a receiving core like what Kansas City had last year to be effective. The idea that the Patriots got better with this move is absolutely insane. I'm hoping that they just looked at this thing as like a salary dump. I don't know. But Juju, comparing Juju to Myers, it doesn't make any sense. And like you said, Myers, this is perfect for him. Outside of Jimmy G, which I do, we'll get into that in a second because we're talking about Jimmy G next. I'm not crazy about that for him, but I will say in terms of just pure weapons and pure receivers, when you're lining up across from a Justin Jefferson, when you're lining up across from a Tyreek Hill, when you're lining up from a Cooper Kupp, when you're lining up across from a Devontae Adams, there is going to be space. There's going to be room because leading up to your game that Sunday, the other coach is circling that other receiver. They're circling that weapon. We're talking about Josh Jacobs in the background, right? We're talking about Adams, Josh Jacobs, and then Myers. You're going to be looking at multiple pieces on these defensive chalkboards, if you will, before you actually get to the name Myers. It's going to free him up. He was a legit number one. If you watch the Patriots last year, he was legit number one. He was good. He had some great routes. He looked great when he was healthy. And now it's only going to help him to free up some space, to alleviate that pressure. I love it. I think the Patriots got worse, and I'm just not a Juju guy. Look, I thought he was decent. He was decent for the Steelers. But again, like you said, he was never, ever that true blue number one. That's why a guy like Chase Claypool still got the work. You know what I mean? Like to think that this is the answer to your problem. It just doesn't make any sense. And then when you have Mac Jones to tie it all up, and I'm going to go out of my way to take a shot at Mac Jones for no reason at all. It's not even planned. Like this isn't even planned in our podcast, but we got to do it. Listen, for this guy, he doesn't take any responsibility to me. Right. When I saw him yelling at his offensive coordinator and he goes, "This offense sucks," and he used a lot worse words than that. And the reality is, in that game, as he's yelling at his offensive coordinator, the offensive coordinator's like, "Fine, let's drop back. Let's drop you back." He got sacked. He didn't complete throws. He was missing dudes. It was like, what? You think that you're not the issue, but you are very much part of the issue. You don't think they want to throw the ball 80 yards down the field? They do, right. But you're probably going to get picked off. Yeah. Right. Like nobody knew what to expect. Look, every quarterback comes in the NFL. What do they call it? They call it the rookie year. And the next year, what do they call it? The sophomore slump, because NFL defenses, it takes them a bit to adjust to you. There's only 17 games in the season. The good defenses adjust to you by, halfway through the year. But those guys who start off really hot, those guys who have a great rookie year, like a Mac Jones, all of a sudden teams like, oh, he really likes the crossing route. Oh, he really likes this. Oh, he really likes that. And Mac Jones, it doesn't seem like he grasps that that's what happened. That's what was happening. Instead, he just blamed it on his offensive coordinator.
Where he was at in his rookie season, as opposed to like Mahomes, who, he made different moves and he got better because he knew the defenses were going to get good. So he decided to implement different things, different passes in his game plan. Yeah, totally. Yeah,
and he didn't complain. He didn't complain. This last season was the most dink and dunk Patrick Mahomes
as a challenge
we've ever seen. Right. People said, "Hey, we're dropping back 2 safety. We're giving you a 2 safety drop back look." Right throughout the entire season, what did he do? Over the middle, boom. Off right, boom. McKinnon, boom. These guys, boom. Hit this guy 10 yards, boom. Just dinking and dunking on fools. If you're going to stop the long game, I'm going to dink and dunk all over you. I'm going to do it, right? Smart. That's what the greats do. That's what makes Patrick Mahomes next level. Mac Jones doesn't have it to me. I'm not a big fan of the guy. I'm not going to lie. And I think the Patriots got a lot worse. Patriots fans, I'm so sorry. Those golden years, they're behind you. When TB12 left that team and you guys thought you were better than the GOAT, that was pretty much it for you. Speaking of a guy that's come up a lot tonight, Jimmy G. All right. I'll let you know my feelings and I'll let you respond, but I'm going to let you know my feelings regardless. I've been reading this nonsense that the Raiders basically traded Derek Carr for Derek Carr in Jimmy G. And I don't understand this train of thought. I'm just going to say it. I do not understand this logic. I have my reasons, which I'll get into in a second. But Big Z, what do you think of this? Do you like when you read that, do you think that's like, it's comparable? Like, do you think these two guys are very similar? Talk to me.
Well, if you look at their starting record, their records as starters, Jimmy G has a 40-17 record. Derek Carr has a 63-79 record. But that doesn't really tell me the whole story since the systems are different. Jimmy G played for the Niners and Derek Carr had so many different head coaches. And it was a terrible tenure in Las Vegas 100%. And Oakland. But both of their touchdown to interception ratios, they're almost 2-1. So Jimmy has 87 touchdowns. 42 interceptions. Derek Carr has 217 touchdowns and 99 interceptions. So that's about the same.
Right.
I honestly think that it was pretty even. I think you regress a little bit with Jimmy. He can't throw the ball down the field like Derek Carr can. The vision isn't there. But Jimmy has a record of really getting that locker room behind him. The locker room loves Jimmy G. And 49er land, they were bummed to see him go. George Kittle posted like a really nice post on Twitter about him. Guys rallied around him. They knew that he
100%.
wasn't the best quarterback in the league, not even the best quarterback in the division, possibly.
Not
Stafford.
even the best quarterback on his team, my boy Brock.
But he still worked hard, and he had a swagger about him. And that's what people like, right? Derek Carr, yeah, I've been reading this week, the 2021 season or 2021 when they went to the playoffs and the John Gruden thing, he became a leader then this last season. He was crying at the podium and just saying, how much they work hard, blah, 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 blah. But before that, there was actually a lot of guys that did not like him in the locker room. And so when you have a guy like Jimmy G coming into the locker room, may not be as talented as him, but when he has that swag and guys in that locker room know that about him and that he's able to capture that locker room and he has that confidence in saying, I know Josh McDaniels. I've worked with him in the past on the Patriots. I was successful under him. I don't have to come in and learn a whole new playbook. I'm going to come in and I'm going to just go right off the bat and we're going to get this thing going. I think that's going to be positive for them. And I think it's a net positive as a situation for Jimmy G compared to for the Raiders in this situation that they lost Derek Carr. I think Jimmy G is actually going to do better for them, in my opinion. He's a game manager.
I think you have completely discredited and discounted your boy, Kyle Shanahan.
Derek Carr.
Kyle Shanahan is the reason that Jimmy G is even relevant. Listen, it's not hard to be a leader when your head coach is like, I don't care who's here because my system's going to work. Okay. You can either jump. Shanahan is like the ultimate train in terms of like, you can jump on, baby, or you can be left behind. You can jump on board or we're chucking you off the train. It doesn't matter who gets on, who gets off. He's got a gorgeous offense.
It didn't work that way for Lance. He's gotten hurt, but guys did not like him. He wasn't as hard of a worker. Jimmy worked hard.
Jimmy does work. Jimmy does work. But the idea that at the QB, this is a net positive is crazy. Okay, listen, I'm not going to.
Not in terms of skill level, in terms of just different situations.
That's fair.
Starting over. Derek Carr needed to leave. His time as a Raider, and Derek Carr is better skill level wise, right? But Jimmy G, it was time for the Raiders to push Derek Carr away, and I think that Jimmy was probably the best guy to really bridge the gap because they're not going to win the Super Bowl, but I think they're going to be in contention for maybe a wild card spot, maybe. Right?
It's going to be tough, dude.
In contention.
That AFC is going to be tough, bro.
Yeah, that
AFC is going to be tough.
That's the thing.
And let me just say before I tear him down a little bit, listen, I would probably take Jimmy G. If you're a Cowboy fan, I thought Jimmy G was a great target for you. I'm going to be honest with you. And I know a lot of people don't like that. I know a lot of people are like, how about what Dak, blah, blah. Look at your weapons, Cowboy fans. The argument that Big Z is making to me fits even better in a Cowboy situation with CeeDee Lamb and all the Gallup, all these weapons that you got with the best offensive line, arguably in football. Like, to me, when I looked at Dak and Jimmy, I think Jimmy probably wins you that playoff game. I'm going to be honest with you. Having said that, what is upsetting to me is this comparison. These guys are close. In 9 years, both these guys have been in the league for 9 years. Now, granted, Jimmy G had to sit behind Tom Brady, and I see that. It was unfortunate. He had to sit behind the GOAT. Having said that, in those 9 years, Derek Carr has been over 3,000 yards passing every single year. Jimmy G was over 3,000 yards passing two times. And again, that is a credit to Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan did not need him. So I'm not completely crapping on him. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean,
Kyle Shanahan did not
who was always Kyle losing the game? The Raiders always losing the game.
Kyle Shanahan did not need him to do it. 8 times Derek Carr goes over 4,000 yards. He's got 20 plus touchdowns 8 times. Jimmy G never went over 4,000. He only had 2 seasons of 20 plus touchdowns. Listen, as a Raider fan, this was a loss for you. To me, as a Raider fan, this was a loss for you. You lost talent at the quarterback position. Jimmy G is not as good. To your point, Biggsy, I thought you made a great point. The intangibles, this guy is a true blue leader. And I agree with you. I did think ultimately that Derek Carr, his time as a Raider was done. That was clear. That the locker room, I will say, I don't blame Derek Carr. I think Derek Carr is a leader of men. I think he is a great leader.
Yeah.
I 100% think McDaniels was the issue. And I think it's going to get proven this year when they don't get much better. They might finish relatively similar to what they did last year, but they should be better. They should be better because of Myers. I think that Myers move was really, really well done. But really well done.
The contract, though, for Jimmy is way less than what Derek Carr is making. So that also has to be taken into account.
That does have to be taken into consideration. But all these people going on social media saying like they traded Derek Carr for Derek Carr. No. You just traded a guy who can gunsling if you need it for a game manager. Listen, if you're a Raider fan, you cannot go down by 14 points. You will not come back. You need to be in the game constantly. You've got to be right there. If it's 10-7, you got a shot. If it's 14-7, if it's 21-7, game's over. Like Jimmy G, to me, is not that guy. Having said that,
I don't know, bro. We were losing 17-0 against the Rams one time, and then we came back and won.
Oh boy, so. You would bring up the Rams. You would bring up the Rams. You would bring up the Rams just to drive the dagger home. Listen, Jimmy G is not that dude to me. I've defended my boy Derek Carr because I like that guy a lot for probably no reason. No reason.
It's really weird because we're kind of taught down here in SoCal to like, you either love the Raiders or you're just like disgusted by the Raiders. Fact. And so like, I've never hated them, but it's like, I don't know why I like Derek Carr, but I like him. You know, he's a
I'm happy guy. He's not a Raider. I'll say that because now there's nothing.
Dude, he's going to be.
There's nothing holding me back.
The Saints
from
are
hating the Raiders.
The Saints are going to win that division easily. Like,
he's going to do great. Chris Olave over the top. He's going to do great. He's going to absolutely do great
if he's healthy. Oh my
I won't lie. I also a little bit to me, I feel bad for Jimmy G. I just feel like the Raiders these last few years have been just an utter, complete train wreck. We talked about Derek Carr going through all of his head coaches. They just can't figure it out. And they just keep getting piece after piece, moving this guy here, that guy there. I feel a little bit bad for Jimmy G. And I think it's going to be a little bit of a culture shock because Kyle Shanahan, again, to me, Kyle Shanahan, when we talk about coach of the year, what he did last year was stupid. I mean, to compete with a second and then a third string and then to take a rookie third string quarterback and have him win 6 or 7 games in a row. Absolutely insane. I've never seen anything like it. He is a genius. He is brilliant. The Niners need to throw the bag at that guy and keep him forever. Keep him forever. Jimmy G is in for culture shock. I will say that. I don't know how it goes. I'm not going to wish him well because he's a Raider now, and I don't like him as much as I like Derek Carr. So that's where I end on that. If you're a Raider fan, hey, you're going to love to prove me wrong. Get out the comments. Talk about how your Raiders are going to win the Super Bowl with Jimmy G, which is not going to happen. But that's okay.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. I mean, like I said, they'll be fighting for a wild card spot, maybe. But
and then we had a couple running backs on the move. Williams, Montgomery,
Jamal Williams, man, that's awesome.
He's a great guy. He's a good dude.
Going to the Saints? Look, we just talked about Derek Carr. If you have this guy backing up Derek Carr, that's awesome. Like for Derek Carr, you have a dog in the backfield who's going to block for you, who's going to work hard. I fell in love with Jamal Williams. They had the Detroit Lions on Hard Knocks last year. And this guy, after one of the first preseason games, he is just pleading with his team on the field, crying, telling them, I hate losing. Let's change this culture right here, right now. And those guys, they started off the season pretty poorly, but the way they turned it around, I think is a lot of testament to his leadership in the locker room. Yeah, he led the league in touchdowns, which is crazy. We were talking about it before the show. He led the league in touchdowns.
It's so funny, dude. When I read that stat, I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, but the guy he's always been the second stringer behind Aaron Jones, behind DeAndre Swift. And now and maybe, I don't know if where he's going to be with Kamara, with his situation, his legal situation off the field.
Right.
But you know that he's going to work hard, and you know he's going to give you his all every single game. And I think this is a huge addition for the Saints. It's huge.
Right. No, 100%. This is absolutely what they needed. When you look at a team, when you're looking at a team like the Saints, watching them, they were 21st in the league last year, 21st in the league, converting to touchdowns inside the red zone. Williams immediately makes you better. Right. He immediately helps. Look, I like Kamara. Kamara is a special talent. Obviously, he's got some issues off the field, whatever's going on with that. I don't know. I'm not going to comment on that. What I will say is when I was watching Kamara, he got stopped multiple times inside the 5-yard line. Yep. And you need a bruiser, and that's what Williams does. Williams gets into the end zone. That's why he led the league in touchdowns last year as a running back. It wasn't that he was like the fastest side to side. It wasn't. He got north and south, and he ran hard. He hit the holes and he ran hard. He did exactly what he needed to do to score touchdowns. And it shows that when you talk about a guy like Williams, it is sheer effort. It is sheer work ethic that gets him to be the lead running back with the most touchdowns in the NFL, in the entirety of the NFL. He is not the most talented. He's not the fastest. He's not the strongest. He's not the biggest. He's not the quickest. He's none of those things. He's just a hard worker who's going to hit the gap. He's going to hit the hole. And that's what the Saints need. When you're talking about a guy like Derek Carr who can gunsling, and now they're going to be multifaceted. This is a huge upgrade. This is a huge upgrade for Mark Ingram. Mark Ingram had a great career. Yeah. He was great for a long, long time. He's not that dude anymore. This is a huge upgrade behind Kamara or in front of Kamara, however you see that playing out as a Saints fan. It is great. This is fire and lightning. Kamara on the outside, Williams on the inside. Kamara is not an inside running back. He's just not. That's why he gets hurt. He's not the dude who's that workhorse is going to take a beating for you. He's just not that guy.
This is going to help him too. You know, if he's able to play,
100%.
Like he's going to be able to be in the passing game a little bit more. He's great when he gets the ball in the open field. He can make guys miss, and his agility is bar none. And so I really think that this is going to actually help him.
Slightly terrifying next year when you line up that backfield and it's Hill with Kamara and Williams on each side of him.
Yeah, I know.
Like, are they going to run it up the gut? Are they running it to the outside? Is Hill going to truck me? I don't know.
Are they going to pass it? Is Hill going to pass it to one of them? Like, what's going on?
Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? That's going to be slightly terrifying for defenses. Yeah. I can't wait to see it. I think it was great. I think it helps them. And the Lions didn't get a slouch. The Lions continue to impress me. They continue to grow. They continue to go the right way. I think Montgomery is probably more talented than him. I'm not going to say this makes him a league winner. I'm not going to say that this overall, maybe it gets him maybe one more game, which is all they needed, right, to get into the playoffs. They just needed one more game to get into the playoffs. Yeah. Montgomery is a legit running back. He's been great for the Bears. I understand the Bears moving on. The Bears are trying to build for the future, try to create some cap space, trying to get some fresh blood in there. So I understand what they're doing as well. But I mean, this is a great move for the Lions. I like it. I like it.
I love it. I think that Montgomery's the case, that case that he needed a change of scenery. I think him and Matt Nagy didn't use him correctly. Matt Nagy was obviously fired, but he just wasn't being used to his ability and his skill level. And I think that Dan Campbell and this coaching staff on the Lions, these guys can get the most out of their players, as we saw. Yep. They're not the most talented
100%.
team, but they got a hell out of Jared Goff, out of Williams, out of DeAndre Swift, out of these guys that, people were forecasting them to have maybe 5 or 6 wins. I think that Dan Campbell, lights a fire under David Montgomery, and this change of scenery is something that he's going to definitely benefit from. And a team on the rise, playing for a team that could potentially take the division, is also going to be something that is going to make him want to play even harder. And I think it's going to really benefit him in his career. So I think, like you said, the Lions, they made a great move. David Montgomery goes to a place that's on the upswing right now, because the Bears were just 3 wins you're playing in a cold city. It's snowing in Chicago, old stadium. It's tough. Now you get to play in Ford Field in Detroit. It's domed, and you have just a great coaching staff behind you. Their running backs coach. If you guys, and we're not endorsed by HBO or anything, but if you guys have the time, you need to watch Hard Knocks for the Detroit Lions last year. Just see how their running backs coaches, just those few guys in particular, they get the most out of those running backs, third stringers, fourth stringers, and they play like it's their last game of their life. It's awesome. Right. Every single game. So it's fun. I think he's going to be great. It's going to be good.
It was also getting awkward, right? You didn't know who's going to be the guy, Herbert or Montgomery.
Right.
It clears up things in the Bears. Herbert's now the guy, right? They've been talking about it for years. And also it helps the Lions in a very simple way of just, you need a healthy running back. DeAndre Swift has not been able to stay healthy, and now you have a healthy running back. And I like DeAndre Swift. I think it helps him. Right. I think this is very similar to what the Saints just did, to be honest with you.
Right.
With the same thing with Kamara. This is the same exact thing. You have an every down running back. Montgomery, again, he probably has a little bit more skill than Williams, but he's going to be a nice piece to go along with DeAndre Swift.
Right.
And they just have a different offense. When you're talking about the Lions team and Dan Campbell, he wants that every down back. He wants that guy who's just going to red zone, whatever. He's going to bash it in there. He's going to run the ball well. And to be a Lion. And Montgomery is that guy. If DeAndre Swift, you don't need to worry about what's this package and what's that. Montgomery can be an every down package. We saw his hands with Herbert being hurt last year. We saw his hands. We saw him being able to catch the ball. He is a complete running back. He's very good. The Lions is a great move for them. I enjoy it. Honestly, the only team I would say that I'm a little worried about, one of the teams I'm worried about, this Ravens thing with Lamar Jackson. What is happening? Is there any updates on that?
So this week, Adam Schefter reported, I think, that Lamar Jackson turned down a $200 million like guaranteed contract or something. And then Lamar Jackson, then tweeted back that it was only for $133 million guaranteed over 3 years. And I'm like, bro, that's 40 something million dollars a year guaranteed. What with like 200 plus million in incentives, like it could get up to that amount. I'm like, what are you looking for here? Like you in 3 years, that's nothing. So you can come out of that contract and then you're still in your prime and you can get an even bigger contract. It gives you that time to really prove yourself whilst getting paid top dollar for a QB in the league. I just don't know. I hear rumblings of other teams maybe going in because they gave him a non-exclusive franchise tag, which means that any team can actually negotiate a contract with him. And if he likes it, he accepts it. The Ravens have 5 business days to either match it or say, okay, you guys have them, but we get 2 first round draft picks from you. But I haven't heard any team for sure come out of the woodworks and say, this is our guy. We want him. Again, Lamar Jackson is going off of the basis that the Browns set of that guaranteed money for Deshaun Watson, but the rest of the NFL is not going to let the Browns set the QB market, and that's not what he's understanding. And another problem is that he is representing himself. No, I'm not taking a shot like, he thinks that's a good thing for his own brand, but there are agents out there that are going to actually look out for you and get you a good deal. A third party in a way who's going to actually speak some sense into you and say, you know what, you should take this deal. This is actually going to be good for you. And it's going to grow your brand even more. So I honestly think it's a bad move for him to not have an agent. I don't know if he's going to sit out this year, but it's pretty dramatic and is making him look worse than what the Ravens are looking like, in my opinion.
If you are a mobile quarterback, because I think somebody listening to the show probably said 3 years, that's nothing, Big Z. That's the issue. That's what he's looking for, his longevity. How do you give a guy who depends on his legs a long-term deal? This is not, and anybody listening to this is not Patrick Mahomes. I know a lot of people talk about the mobility that Patrick Mahomes has. Yes, Patrick Mahomes is mobile. He's also got a cannon, and he also can sit in the pocket and dice you to pieces. He does not mind sitting in the pocket. Patrick Mahomes can sit in the pocket and cut you up. Justin Herbert, Same thing. He can sit in the pocket. He can cut you up. That is not Lamar Jackson. If you leave Lamar Jackson in the pocket alone, he has shown you can make him pay. You can beat the Ravens by making him a one-tool quarterback. If you make him pass the ball instead of running the ball potentially, all of a sudden that's his greatest weapon. So the idea that he's going to get like this 5 or 6 or 7 year deal, whatever he's looking for, it's just not reality. And like you said, Big Z, instead of taking it as a positive and say, you know what, I'm going to take this 3-year deal. I'm going to make $40 million a year. And then I'm still going to be in my prime and you're not going to be able to sign me. I'm going to remember this moment. Right. I'm going to prove to everybody that I am this guy. I'm going to work on my pocket passing game. I'm going to get, because $40 million, I'm not asking him to take a pay cut. I'm not asking him to take like terrible money. $40 million a year is plenty of money.
That's top 5 QB.
That's a top 5 QB money. And you're going to take this deal, and then you're also going to say, and I'm going to show everybody what time it is. In 4 years, when I'm a free agent, I'm going to be the most demanded free agent across all of football. It's going to be magical. But instead, he rejects it. He's taking it as disrespectful, or however he's taking it. Just even coming out and saying, you know, when Schaefer comes out and says, oh, it's $200 million, and he comes out and he's like, it's only 130. It's only 130. Bro, it's only 130? Bro, that is a lot of money. That is a lot of money guaranteed. That money says we're putting our faith in you. We're willing to pay you. Right. We just can't pay you for 5, 6, 7 years with your mobility, because that's what he depends on. If Lamar Jackson, God forbid, if he goes out and he gets hurt at camp tomorrow, right? Or he gets hurt doing whatever it is, it's all she wrote. He is not a pocket passer. He's had every opportunity to become that, and I hope he does become that. But he has not become that yet. He just has not.
He's missed 11 out of his last 23 games, the last 2 seasons. He's only played in 50% of the games. So how do you expect the Ravens to give him $50 million a season guaranteed for that? You haven't proven that you can even stay on the field.
And again, look at the Browns. Look at the Browns. If that's who you're comparing this, if you're comparing yourself to Watson, if you're comparing yourself to this Browns organization, they are going to miss the playoffs again and again and again, and they're not going to be close. Understand that. This was a bad deal. This was a dumb deal for the Browns. And for you to be sitting there expecting the same thing, it's foolish at best. I wish the best for Lamar. I really do. But it just seems he's got to get, like you said, it's really hurting him. I agree with you. And it's not at all a shot at him in any way, shape, or form. I just think it'd be very beneficial for him to have somebody in his ear that knows what they're doing, that knows what they're talking about, that could be like, hey, bro, this is a good deal for you. This is a good deal. You win, they win, everyone wins. You know what I mean? This is a good deal for you. I'm not sure what he's waiting for. I don't know what it is. I hope he figures it out soon. I will say this. Yeah. I do know what's happening in Worlds Colliding with the World Baseball Classic. This thing, man, if you have not been watching it, every game in the semifinals is sold out to the finals. You cannot, you can probably buy tickets off of whatever, like a resale, but every ticket is sold out. It is nuts. These games are nuts. When the USA played Venezuela and Trey Turner hits that grand slam to push the Team USA over Venezuela, Trey Turner said he has never heard a louder crowd than that. He's never heard it. He's never seen heard Trey
Turner be that pumped.
Never.
Have you ever seen him that emotional? I loved it.
Never.
He was so amazing. Proud to do that for his country.
Even Nolan Arenado. And Nolan Arenado, I will say he does show the fire, but at the end of the game, he's fist pumping. He's doing it, right? When they beat Venezuela to move on, you saw the fire.
It's fun to see Mike Trout in a meaningful game and to see him play at an extra high level. You can see he's locked in, bro. He is so locked in compared to game 111 for the Angels when they're already out of contention. I love this thing, man. In my prediction, I think it's going to be U.S. versus Japan. I think that Japan is going to sweep the floor with Mexico tomorrow night. I think that Shohei versus the U.S. is just awesome. Shohei versus Trout, Shohei versus Mookie. It's going to be fun. I mean,
it's going to be fun.
He's pitched 102 miles an hour.
In March.
It just shows you, dude. I know in March, how locked in he is and how excited he is to win for his country. I think it's 100%. Great. There's been a lot of talk from people just saying that, it's a bad tournament. It means nothing. These guys are getting hurt. And to be frank, I think it's great that these players, especially and not the US right now, I'm talking about all the other teams, all the other countries that have joined this tournament. All the top guys are there. All of them.
Right.
They volunteered. They're not being forced to play in this tournament. They are volunteering to play in this tournament because they want to play for their people, for their country, because their country is so behind them. With the US, yeah, we have great stars on the team, but the top 10 statistic pitchers in the league, they didn't play. They chose to opt out because they didn't want to get hurt. That just shows you something. And yes, the US is in the finals still because they're that good of a team, because they're that deep their skill is that deep. But I think that, these guys, even though they're getting hurt, like Altuve, like Diaz, heartbreaking injuries, right?
Heartbreaking.
It's for them in their eyes. I think for them, they're okay with getting hurt on the baseball field, playing for their country, as opposed to getting hurt in a spring training game, or even for the Mets, for an organization, or for the Astros, right? Because what's bigger to them? Their country that they grew up in, their people that they are playing this beautiful game of baseball for, or this organization that pays them the money, right? I think they know how big this is for everyone else at home. And I think that they take that to heart. And I think that it's worth it for them. It's worth it to go on the field and potentially have a season-ending injury. I think that they're okay with that decision.
I don't understand. I don't even grasp the idea that this is not worth it, that this is just some small tournament. I can't wrap my head around that argument. Here's the reason. What is the largest sporting event in the world? Soccer. And what specifically about soccer? The World Cup. The World Cup. It's unmatched. Every 4 years. It doesn't matter if you watch soccer. It doesn't matter if you don't watch soccer. It doesn't matter if your team is good or bad. It does not matter. It's irrelevant. Everyone watches. The amount of people. The World Cup ends wars, right? People are like, you know what, dude? Let's press pause on shooting each other and let's go watch the World Cup. Like that is what the World Cup does. And when your sport has an opportunity to do the same, it's not there yet. And I don't know if it'll ever be there, but at least the opportunity to build there, to create this atmosphere of my country versus your country, the patriotism, the belonging, the sense of belief in your heroes. These are our guys out there on this field representing me, representing us. It's so great. And I just don't understand how people can't grasp why these guys are so into it. When you watch Trey Turner hit that bomb, it was like he lifted the world on his shoulders. All of Team USA is over the fence. Mookie's over the fence. Everybody's over the fence. The fans are cheering. Venezuela is in shambles, and it's amazing. It's this amazing moment, right? And Venezuela had done the same thing. They had just hit a home run to take the lead, and in that moment, the roles were reversed. Venezuela was up, and the USA was in shambles, but the passion, just the fight, the grit, it's all there. And I really do sincerely hope that the U.S. players begin to take this a bit more seriously. Now, I know there's somebody listening saying, hey, they just won. They won 40 years ago. They're winning right now. Like, what are you talking about? Take this more seriously. All I'm saying is that we did not take a single one of our aces at Team USA. Now, one of those dudes is there, right? Our Cy Young guys are not there right now. You know what I mean? And I get it. I understand they're worried about getting hurt. Here's the reality. Joe Musgrove hurt himself dropping a weight on his pinky toe. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't, there's other ways to get hurt. It's not as if this gentleman from the Mets went out and got hurt pitching. He was jumping in celebration with his team, and it was a freak accident. You don't know if that wouldn't have happened. Look at Gavin Lux. Gavin Lux gets hit for the Dodgers. If you went to the World Baseball Classic, he got hit by a pitch, just like Altuve. How do you know Altuve wouldn't have got hit by a pitch at spring training? Would it for some reason have felt better? I don't even understand that. Would it feel better if he got hurt in your home uniform? Like, an injury is an injury and is an injury. And by the way, they are cautious, right? Look at Freddie Freeman. Team Canada probably wanted him to come back. Freddie Freeman's going to be available for the opening day roster. Turns out the injury probably wasn't even that serious, but the Dodgers got him the horn. Hey, he's done. He's done. Sorry. Like, we're glad he had fun. We're glad he joined Team Canada and he got to live out his dream, but he's done now because he's our $180 million guy, which makes sense. If there is an injury, like I don't expect Arenado unless it's like a full clear thing. I really don't expect to see him again. I know that's not probably what Team USA wants to hear. But when there is an injury, when something does happen, now those baseball teams can step in. But in terms of getting hit by a pitch or these freak accidents, come on, that could happen anywhere. You could be walking to your car and slam your knee on the car door and something happens. Like, you don't know. The idea that you wouldn't have gotten hurt just because you were at home, that doesn't make any sense. And would it make it better? I don't think so. I don't think it helps at all. You know, at least right now they're playing for their country. And I made the joke, just like you were saying a couple minutes ago, I made the joke to one of my friends, one of my close friends, who's a big Angels fan. I was like, God, it is so great to watch Ohtani and Trout play for something that actually matters. Right. This is amazing. Right. Like, this is fantastic. This is everything that baseball fans have wanted. They're not sitting at home while the finals are happening. They're not sitting at home while everybody else is moving on in the tournament. They're actually out there playing. And it's amazing to watch. It's amazing to see the fire in Trout. It's amazing to see the fire in Ohtani's. I 100% agree with you, Big Z. I 100% agree with you. Yeah. I don't understand it.
Yeah. And it makes baseball more relevant in March than it ever has been. Like
100%.
When's baseball one of the top storylines on SportsCenter in March? Never. Like,
when are they top storyline until stinking, unless something goes horribly wrong, right? Like, unless somebody gets popped for peds or something like that. When are they storyline until October?
Exactly. So baseball is in turning a page right now. It's growing, right? MLB rule changes, all that fun stuff, and it's growing. It's taking a positive direction, and I think this only helps. Like you said,
100%.
Having Mike Trout, having Shohei Ohtani, just those two guys playing meaningful games and on your front storylines for SportsCenter is huge. Because
I think the only way that this hurts is as we progress now, I'm gonna have to find a way to find normal baseball less boring, because the excitement and the energy that are going in this tournament, it's incredible. It's like you can feel it. It's tangible. You can touch it. Like, it's amazing, the energy that's on the field. And baseball's just not going to seem like that for a while because it's 162 games, and that's fine. I am looking forward to the season in that every team is going to be playing every other team. I'm really excited not playing the Diamondbacks 19 times. Like, baseball, Big Z, that was beautiful. Baseball is trending in the right direction. The games are faster. There's more scoring. There's less time between pitches. There's less time between batters. It's everything we've been wanting in baseball.
I love it. I'm excited, man. I'm excited.
I'm fired up, dude. And I'll tell you what else I'm fired up for. And that's March Madness, despite the fact that you and I sat here a week ago and we were so confident as rookie pickers who did not pay attention nearly enough to college basketball to make our picks. And we were so sure that we were going to get it right. And I mean, we got pretty much everything wrong. We didn't get everything wrong, but as of tonight, the Sweet 16, it's just about, and I mean, literally, we got Alabama, right? We both picked Bama to be here. Right. So we did that. We did not pick San Diego State.
No, we
did not pick Creighton. We did not pick Princeton. We did not pick FAU. We did pick Tennessee. So we got that one right. I think we did have Kansas State. Possibly. No, I think we had Kentucky. We definitely didn't have Michigan State. We had Houston, but not Miami. We had Xavier in Texas. So kudos to us. We nailed that. We had Xavier in Texas.
Half of the field, maybe.
Right. There we go. We didn't have Arkansas and UConn, and we had Gonzaga and UCLA. Big Z, this tournament has been wild. I know I've been watching way too much college basketball. My sons are sick of it. Although they were getting into it in the end, like the dunks and, oh my gosh, like, all of a sudden they started realizing why I'm so into it, because when the game is like 2-2, it's coming down there, like points go traded back and forth. It's 48-50. Oh, now it's 60-58. It's just wild. Big Z, what are the biggest storylines? What have you noticed in this tournament?
I still can't get over how Virginia lost to Furman. I cannot get over the pass.
That poor kid.
What
was he doing? What was he thinking?
What did he see, bro? It's like like when a quarterback throws an interception, like straight to the guy, it's like, what are you seeing on the field? What
This
did you
was
see
the
on
Raiders
the court?
Patriots. This was the Raiders
I
Patriots
know.
all over again. Like
Gosh,
you just chucked it up.
like, what are you doing? And then the wherewithal for the guy on Furman to intercept the pass and then to pass it, the outlet to the guy. And that guy just hits a 3 in stride, just confident,
just boom.
Like he's just done it, like that he should have been on Houston or on a number 1 team. Like this guy was that talented, and he just stepped into it and he just drained that bucket. And it wasn't a close; it was a deep 3. So that was one of the most exciting endings for me. I liked, what's it called? Farley Dickinson. They beat Purdue on Friday night, number 16, beating a 1 seed. Zach Edey on Purdue, the 7-4 or 7-1, 304 pounder. Didn't get the job done. They were supposed to, potentially win the championship. And I like when the 16 seed just, they just brought it to them, right? Like they had to play, they had to be in the play-in to get into it. And they just use that momentum, and they beat Purdue, man. They and
I didn't feel bad.
Them.
I didn't even feel. And the best part about it was I didn't feel bad for Purdue, because literally that coach just said like, "Hey, we're going to take out the 7-footer." And these guys are like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah. Every time he touches the ball, I want 3 or 4 of you to just run at him. So anyone else is going to beat us, just not that guy." And it's like Purdue didn't see that coming. Like, how did you not see that coming? Like it was clear that was your guy.
It's like, oh, there's 16 seed. We'll be fine.
Right.
Like the whole first half, and then, they're down by 1 at halftime, and it's like, okay, they're probably going to make an adjustment, right? Nope. Like they had no sense of urgency, man. Like that stuff is crazy. Like these are Division I college basketball players, like on scholarships, whatever. They're talented enough to play collegiate basketball. They're athletes, and this is the biggest game of their life, just the same as the biggest game of your life. And the fact that you think that you cannot be beat is ludicrous to me. I think this is the most craziest March Madness that I have ever experienced. Princeton making the Sweet 16, beating Arizona,
wild,
and then
they beat them.
They beat them, and then they beat down Mizzou as well. Like
they put it on Mizzou.
They really did, man. Like they're just looking like they're just confident. It's probably last game potentially for a lot of seniors there, and they're just playing like there's no tomorrow. So that's what I love. And I think of myself, I'm like, wait, it's all 18 and 19-year-olds, almost all of them. It's just crazy to me, and like how calm they are under this little microscope that's on them. It's magnifying glasses. The whole nation is watching them, and all the fans and all the TV sponsors, all that stuff is on them, and they're calm, cool, and collected. So I love it.
Yeah.
I know people
have been great.
Talking this year, March Madness doesn't have the same, the same flair as it used to. I think it's better than ever.
It's fantastic. I'm enjoying the heck out of it. I'm enjoying the heck out of these games. I mean, the blowouts were in the first round. UCLA came out. They made a statement. I picked them to win. Yep. They came out like they were ready. They came out like, hey, this is our tournament. We're ready to go. They got through the second round. They won by 5, won by 8, whatever it was. They got it. They handled it. Gonzaga goes through. It's going to be interesting. Gonzaga was losing a lot of tonight, so that's going to be interesting. Gonzaga UCLA is going to be interesting. But I mean, UCLA made a statement. I will say this, dude. To me, and what I'm seeing, UConn is hot.
Yeah, they're hot, man.
UConn is on fire. You got guys just running up the court. Doesn't matter if it's a good player or not. Just boom, drain it 3. Boom, drain it 3. Boom, drain it 3. Like UConn is on fire. And people got to realize the last time UConn went this far was 2014 when they won it all. You know what I mean? Like they're real and they are hot. And that's any sports fan can tell you. That's what matters. If you get hot at the right time, that's all that matters. Houston hasn't even been tested. They've just been dominant fools. They've just been doing this thing. Princeton, it looks good. But again, Alabama looks good. But UConn, man, don't sleep on. They're a dark horse, dude. Yeah, they really are a dark horse.
Tonight, man, like you said, they were just dribbling up to the 3 and just hoisting it up and making it every time down the court. It didn't matter where they were. It looked like Steph Curry out there in a way. Just
it was like they literally scored a 3. Ball goes down the other side. They steal it. They didn't even set up a play.
Yeah,
they didn't even set up a play. Literally just boom.
Just feeling it, man.
Just three. They hit it in stride. I'm excited. I'm really excited for this field. So in the spirit of us getting literally everything wrong, we're going to do some picks tonight, Big Z. We're just going to do the Sweet 16 and on. So we can't mess up that bad. You know, like I feel like we got to get something right.
I don't think we can, but
Just watch us pick all the wrong teams. Okay. So first up, Alabama and San Diego State. Who you got?
San Diego State. I think that Alabama, well, there's only 2 1 seeds left now, right? So I think that Alabama is worse than Houston. So I thought going into the tournament that Alabama was the weakest 1 seed. So I'm going San Diego State.
San Diego State. San Diego State is playing a good brand of basketball. You could say what you want. San Diego State handling Furman, who was hot. Like you said, they had just come off a massive upset. And San Diego State, they played like, you don't even belong in the court with us. Like you don't belong here. Sorry. Yeah. You need to go home. Dude, I'm joining you. I think San Diego State's got a great matchup. San Diego State probably going to start right off, just getting it wrong. It's all good. Creighton and Princeton. Do you think Princeton keeps rolling?
Yes, just because I love the story. I think that Creighton's probably, they're better than them, but I would love for Princeton to get into the Elite Eight. That'd be awesome. That'd be so cool.
I'm going to take Creighton. And the reason that I'm going to take Creighton is because I thought before this tournament that Baylor, I had Baylor going much further. I thought they didn't have a chance to get Baylor, and Creighton beat Baylor. The game was not as close as that score line. It shows less than 10. It wasn't that close. No. It was never that close. Baylor was never in that game. They had no shot at winning that game. Creighton dismantled them. So on that, I got Creighton and San Diego State moving on to the Elite Eight. FAU and Tennessee. Who you got?
I'm going Tennessee.
I'm going. Tennessee, they look good. Kansas State, Michigan State. I'm going Kansas State. And they look pretty good.
Kansas State. They play in the Big 12. Big 12 is good, man. So I'm going them.
They're good. And honestly, they haven't looked like they struggled. Again, Kentucky, in my opinion, it just wasn't as close as it looked. It just looked like they were in control, like they had a handily. Houston and Miami, I think Miami's story has been great. Houston's going to beat them. Houston is just they're a true number 1 seed. They're going to be a tough out for anybody. Xavier and Tejas. Who you got, Big Z?
Going Texas.
He's going Texas. He liked that win over the nifty Lions. We're gonna have to part the ways here. I'll go Xavier on this one. So it's gonna be just mental note when we pick the next round. This is our first separation here. I'm going Xavier, Arkansas and UConn. Dude, I'm taking UConn. I'm taking UConn, son. Yeah. UCLA and the Zags, bro. Who you got?
I think on paper this is the most competitive game because it's only a 1 point spread. UCLA is in favor of that. I'm gonna go UCLA just because it's local. Who doesn't like UCLA in the Elite Eight? Like that's just a good storyline. I love Gonzaga. Nothing against them, but I'm rooting for UCLA. Local guy. All
right. So from that, then you got San Diego State, and you have Princeton. I have Creighton. Who are you going? You think Princeton's got a shot at San Diego State?
Yeah, but they do have a shot. But I'm going San Diego State over Princeton.
Yeah, I'm going San Diego State too. I like San Diego State to make the Final Four, dude. I think it'd be a really fun story. I think it'd be great.
Is that possible to have UCLA versus San Diego State in the finals?
That'd be sick.
Are they on the same bracket?
No. That'd be possible. Totally possible. They're from opposite ends of this bracket, dude.
Woo-hoo, that'd be cool. Give the West Coast some love. Tennessee, Kansas State. I got Tennessee. Kansas State. They're good. I'm going Kansas State over Tennessee.
Okay. Houston and we parted ways here. You went Tejas. I went Xavier. I'm taking Houston over either one.
Yeah, I'm going Houston. Yeah.
And then UCLA, UConn. To me, that is where the dream dies for UConn. I think UCLA will take them.
Yeah.
I got UCLA in my Final Four. And then obviously just between those 4 teams that we just picked, I still got UCLA winning this whole thing, dude. I got UCLA at the end of this. They're doing it. They're doing it. They're making their run. This is the magical year. Who you got winning this thing, dude?
Well, I've done a few brackets. So I have UCLA winning in some and Houston winning some. So, and they're playing each other. So I have both of them getting to the finals. But if it does come down that, I'm going for UCLA because, they're local. And there's no money here. There's nothing on the line for me. So I'm just.
According to this, they would meet in the Final Four. So Houston and UCLA would battle it out in the Final Four.
Okay.
Yeah. I see what you're saying though. So winner of that would be the winner of the tournament.
Yeah.
That makes sense, dude. I totally see what you're saying. I got what you're going. I followed you. I followed you. I followed you.
Brackets, dude.
There's so many brackets,
so many combinations. And
if you're out there and you're listening to this, comment on like one of our Instagram posts. We'll make another post soon by the time this comes out. Just comment. If anybody out there like got this right, like if somebody had Princeton taking out Arizona, like let us know who you are. Like you did it.
And taking out Mizzou. Yeah.
And taking out Mizzou. I mean, I had a pretty decent center. I called Pitt. I mean, they lost, but I had them losing. I called Pitt. I had them not making the Sweet 16, but I did have them, winning, so I did that, nailed that.
Yeah.
Felt good. Felt good. Felt good to get something right, dude.
Yeah, man.
Dude, I love it. I love the madness of the brackets. I love what we're seeing. Big Z. Dude, this has been another fun episode. I have a blast every time we do this.
Man. It's always a fun time.
It's so fun. It's so fun. We hope
the fans are having fun.
We hope that they have fun listening to this.
Yeah. I hope they have some laughs with us and, maybe some tears of joy, whatever it may be, whatever emotion that we, make you feel. Yeah. I hope it's just a bunch of emotion and good emotion. Or
some Raider fan is out there they hate us.
Jimmy, if you're listening, you may hate Fredo. But hey, I'm on your side. Derek Carr, you could have maybe you think that I betrayed you, but it's okay. Let us know.
It's okay. Derek Carr, see, that's where Derek Carr, I got your back, dude. I'm faithful. You're better than Jimmy G. It's not even close. I love you. Big Z, say bye to the people, my boy.
Thank you guys again for listening, for watching, whatever it may be. We appreciate the support. Let us know, comment, whatever you want to tell us. Please tell us, please comment, please send us a message, email. We'll try to, implement it into the show, but we just have fun talking to each other, talking to you guys. Sports are a great thing. It's a great uniter, and we just love talking about it. So we thank you guys. As always.
100%. Thank you so much for listening. If you haven't already, go check us out. Brevity Sports. We are on Instagram. We're on Twitter. Go check us out. We're not technically doing our big old launch, but we will have that coming for you soon. Just right now, enjoy the podcast. Just enjoy the podcast. We're just a simple podcast. We're simple dudes with simple taste. And we thank you, as always, for joining us. We hope you have a great night, great week. Get over that hump. Make it to Friday. Spring break is coming for a lot of people. Stay safe out there. When you hit the road, get on them planes, whatever it is, will be coming at you soon. This is Brevity Sports, Big Z, and of course, your boy, Fredo Lay. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a great night. Thanks for listening. Tell your friends, tell your family. We are Brevity Sports, and we'll be coming at you soon. Have a good night, everybody.